I worked third shift at a small-town grocery store in southern Illinois from 2017 to 2019. Real low-traffic place, the kind of store where after 10 p.m., the only customers you get are drunks, tweakers, or the occasional night owl buying milk and cigarettes. I was 22, doing overnight stock and cleanup. My main job was facing shelves, running trash out to the back, and keeping the freezer section stocked. We didn't close, open 24/7, but we never had more than 2 employees at night. One of us on the floor, one at the register. This happened in February of 2018. Still haunts me. It was about 3:40 a.m. I'd just finished cleaning up a broken jar of pickles in aisle 4, and I was taking a cart of frozen goods to the walk-in freezer at the back of the store. You go through a swinging metal door, then down a short hallway, then into the freezer. A big industrial one. If you've ever worked retail or food service, you know the type. White walls, humming fans, frost around the hinges. Anyway, I pull the cart in, and the door swings shut behind me. I'm halfway through loading boxes into the shelves when I hear something knocking, not from the door, from inside the freezer. Like someone was behind the stacked pallets, tapping. 3 sharp knocks. I froze, waited, nothing. Just the hum. Then I hear it again. Knock, knock, knock. This time it was closer. I stood completely still. It wasn't loud, almost like knuckles rapping on cardboard, but it was deliberate. I called out, half joking, "Hello?" No answer. I circled the pallets. Nothing. Just shrink-wrapped food and frosted boxes. I told myself maybe something shifted and fell behind the stacks. Maybe ice cracked. Whatever. I finished stocking and left. About 10 minutes later, I was helping the cashier clean the coffee machine up front when I noticed something on the security screen. We had a 4-way camera split showing the loading dock, front register, parking lot, and the hallway to the freezer. In the corner feed, hallway, to the freezer, I saw a figure standing still. I leaned in, trying to get a better look. Looked like a woman. Long black hair, barefoot, wearing what looked like a hospital gown, just standing at the freezer door. I asked the cashier, "Do you see that?" She looked, and I swear to God, her face turned white. She grabbed the phone and called the manager on duty. I ran back down the hallway with my box cutter in hand, heart pounding. No one was there. No wet footprints, no frost marks, nothing. We checked the cameras again, and now the feed was corrupted. Glitched out, like static. That specific camera. We both filed incident reports, but corporate didn't even respond. Just told us to reset the system and log anything further. Here's the kicker. 3 weeks later, a guy from Frozen Deliveries told me something casual that made my blood run cold. He said, "You know someone died in that freezer, right? Back in like 2003, homeless woman snuck in and got locked inside. They didn't find her for 2 days. They say she froze solid, standing up, like she'd been trying to claw the door open. I've never worked nights since." Back in 2020, during the first winter of COVID lockdowns, I took a job with a private security firm in Kentucky. Most of our assignments were boring. Empty schools, abandoned offices, places no one had stepped foot in for months. Just a warm body with a flashlight. But there was this one building, a long abandoned office complex north of Louisville. And from the first night, it felt wrong. It used to be a tech startup headquarters, early 2000s. Got bought out, gutted, and never reopened. Our job was to monitor the property and walk 2 interior patrols per night. One at 1 a.m., one at 4. The place had no power except for a few flickering emergency lights in the main corridors. And I was solo. Just me, a radio that barely worked past the stairwell, my flashlight, and my company-issued Glock. The weird stuff started on night 3. It was just after 1 a.m., and I was doing my first patrol, warehouse section first, then up the service stairs to the old admin offices. That's when I heard it above me, not footsteps. Something dragging, slow, scraping against metal. At first I thought maybe a raccoon, maybe something in the ductwork, but it moved when I moved. When I stopped, it stopped, like it was following me, right above. I radioed it in. No response. Not surprising. That radio barely picked up a signal outside of the break room. By tune. The time I reached the second floor, it was 1:23 a.m. That's when I saw it. A ceiling hatch, just barely open. One of those rectangular attic-style panels shifted about 2 inches out of place. I stared at it for a long time. Just standing. There. Quiet. Eventually, I backed out of the room and locked the door. Didn't even finish the round. Just sat in my car until the next sweep at 4. And that's when things got worse. Way worse. 05 a.m. I'm heading back down the hallway. Quiet. Empty. When I hear it again. Metal. Clanging. But faster now. Like someone scrambling across the ductwork above me. Too heavy for an animal. Too fast for anyone crawling. Then, I hear breathing. Deep. Raspy. Right above me. I stop. Aim the flashlight up. Nothing. I turn behind me. And in that split second, I catch it. A face, peering down from a different ceiling panel, 20 feet back. The second my light hits it, it's gone. I raised my pistol and backed into the stairwell, called it in again. Still no response. And yeah, I'm not proud of this, but I bailed. Drove straight to a gas station and called the cops from the parking lot. 2 deputies met me and went back with me to sweep the building. At first, nothing. No signs of forced entry, no prints, no damage. But then one of the officers climbed into the crawl space, and that's when they found it. A dirty blanket, a pair of broken glasses, some empty food cans, and a knife. Oh, and something else, a GoPro. Duct taped to one of the beams, pointed down. Through the gaps in the ceiling, someone had been watching me, recording me. They never found the guy, and the footage on the camera, corrupted, but the file names showed dates, whoever it was. They'd been up there for at least 6 nights, meaning he was already inside before I ever started that post. That was my last shift with that company, and to this day, I still can't stand the sound of something moving overhead. I used to work night shift security at a rural hospital in West Virginia. This wasn't some high-tech facility. It was a small old building wedged into the base of a hill near Beckley. Maybe 30 rooms total. Half the place was always under construction, and we mostly ran on a skeleton crew after 10 p.m. There was usually just 1 nurse per floor, maybe a tech or 2, and me, making rounds every hour, checking side entrances, and walking the parking lots. Quiet gig. Honestly, kind of peaceful. Until the night room 209 started getting attention. That room hadn't been used in years. It was part of the old psych wing before they shut it down, and it was locked off due to some mold issue. Even the hallway leading to it felt abandoned. No lights, stripped paint, busted tiles. Just a fire extinguisher on the wall and a broken drinking fountain from the 70s. Anyway, one night around 2:45 a.m., I was in the break room getting coffee when the ER desk called me over the radio. "Hey, can you check the north wing? One of the monitors is showing movement near 209. I kind of laughed. "You sure it's not a glitch? That whole hallway shut down." They said the motion sensor was definitely pinging, so I went to check it out. That part of the building always gave me a weird feeling. The air was heavy and dead quiet, like the place had been vacuum sealed. I walked down the hallway, shining my flashlight. Nothing. No doors open. No noise. Then I noticed something. The handle on room 209's door was turned slightly down, like someone had just let go of it. It was still locked, but not deadbolted. Just the standard hospital latch. I called it in, told the desk it was probably just a misread, but I'd reset the motion sensor manually. I turned to leave, but then I heard something behind the door. Not footsteps. Not talking. Breathing. Low. Guttural. Not like someone sick. More like someone growling through clenched teeth. I stepped back. Every instinct in me screamed to leave. But then I heard a bang. Like someone slammed a fist against the inside of the door. I drew my sidearm, backed down the hallway. Called it in again, this time firmly. I asked if anyone had been assigned to that wing for any reason. The nurse paused, then said, "No." That hallway's sealed. It's empty. I told her to get someone from admin on the line. Now. By the time the on-call supervisor showed up with a maintenance badge and keys, I had 3 nurses behind me in the corridor, all refusing to go near the door. The supervisor unlocked it. We opened the door together, me with my flashlight and weapon ready. The room was empty, no signs of forced entry. Dust on everything, cobwebs in the corners. The bed still had plastic over it. But here's what chilled me to the bone. There was a drag mark in the dust on the floor, wide, smudged, like something heavy had been pulled out of sight, toward the built-in closet. I approached slowly, told the supervisor to stand back. I opened the closet. Nothing. Just brittle hangers and a mop handle. But the drag mark ended right in front of it, as if something had gone through the wall. We searched. The room, the ceiling, under the bed. No one, no access panels. No way in or out. After that, I asked to be reassigned to day shifts. They said no, so I quit. Here's the kicker, though. A week later, one of the new nurses, fresh out of school, was found unconscious in that hallway, lying in front of room 209. Her nose was broken, scratches down her arms. She didn't remember how she got there. She never came back.